Hey guys, what's going on? I'm not even sure if everybody's out of work yet or what's going on.
Nobody's out of work.
Nobody's out of work? Who's out of work?
Oh.
Somebody's out of work. I haven't started working yet. I start working in like 2 hours. Hi, Sarah. So we are just live because we wanted to hang out and come on, and I feel like I post about my husband a lot, but I don't think you guys really know the story behind us, unless like you know us. But I wanted to come on and tell you guys our story and how we met and everything, and introduce my husband, who you guys see in my photos a lot, and me telling the world how much I love him. But it's only sometimes.
Sometimes. Big sometimes.
Not all the time. Not all the time. So, okay, I'm going to let him tell his side of the story. And then I'll tell you what really happened.
Mine's the best side and the right side. You were sprung on me at the end.
Oh, that's how it went. That's how it went down, guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Guys, if you're watching, that's how you get one. That's how you get one of those good girls. You just say,
and you got to get them young. Got to get them young, because then they don't know no better. If I would have met her now, she probably would have found somebody better.
So I'm just on here to give you guys a little backstory of us and like introduce you to him. So my name's Alex. If you guys don't know my real name, I know everybody knows me as Grime Babe, but my name is Alex, and this is my husband Gabriel. And so we actually have been together. It'll be 18 years in February. So we have...
February what?
February 17th.
Yeah, okay, she still got it. Still got it. 18 years, February 17th. So a little backstory behind the February 17th was, okay, so I actually asked her out on Valentine's Day, February 14th. She said yes, and I play around. A lot of people, you know, that know us, know me, and know that I don't take a lot of things seriously. I joke around way too much, according to her. But so I asked her out. She said yes. And then that same night, you know, we were talking, whatever. I was like, oh, I don't think this is working out. We shouldn't be together. And she was like, okay. And she let go of my hand. And I was like, no, I'm playing. She was like, no, it's done. I was like, what? What the hell? I'm playing, like I'm messing around, whatever. So, yeah, that's how the 17th came around, because she was just like, you got to win me back, woo. And so, of course, as the romantic that I was back then, I had to do the whole flower thing and sing to her and all that stuff. And so 3 days later, on the 17th, I asked her out yet again, and we got back together.
So at that time, the time that he's talking about, I was actually 14 years old.
14.
When that was going down.
And I had just turned 16.
What up, my DJ?
What up?
We actually didn't meet until 2 years later, but we saw each other 2 years before we actually met. So I was a 6th grader, and we were having an assembly at our school, and it was like this, where the 6th graders sat on the floor, and then the 7th graders and then the 8th graders got the bleachers. So I was on the floor with my friend, and they asked somebody, Gabriel, to come up and sing. And so he walks up, and I didn't think anything of it, but then he starts to sing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I turned to my friend, and his voice just connected to me. I'm like, I'm going to marry this guy. And I had no idea who he was. I didn't know his name.
But she knew I was fun. She knew I was fun. That's all she needed to know.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to marry this guy. And then I forgot all about him.
Yeah, 14. Can you believe that?
That's what you do. Well, I was 12 at that time.
Oh, yeah, she was 12 at that time.
I was 12 at that time. I was 12 when I first laid my eyes on him.
Mm-hmm.
Love at first sight. But we didn't actually meet till 14, when I was 14. So it was 2 years later. And I was an 8th grader, and he was a sophomore? Yeah, huh? A sophomore in college, and in high school. A sophomore in high school. Yes. No, it's not that big of an age difference. And so he had his cousin send me a message because his cousin and I are the same age, and his cousin came to me while we were at school and was like, hey, can I give your number to my cousin Gabriel because he wants to start talking to you? And I was like, okay. I knew who he was by this time because I ended up having a friend who lived down the street from him. So we would pass by and I kind of figured out who he was and his name. So I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. So my 8th grade year, I was 14 years old. I gave my number to his cousin, and then I don't think I ever got a phone call.
No.
Until after I saw you.
Yeah, I was a little scared. I was a little scared to hit her up. So what it was is, I actually went with my mom to a local supermarket store, and I was sitting in the car while my mom went inside, and I was wearing my vest, no shirt, just the vest, how we did back in the day, showing the little guns, and I was sitting in the car, and all I hear is, hey, hi, Gabriel, and waving and stuff, and, you know, being as you know, high school cocky back then. I was like, oh, yes, what's up? Hey, what's good? Didn't think nothing of it, didn't think anything of it, and then we get home, and I think it was either that night or the next day, I get a phone call from her, and that's how it was.
No, you called me.
I called you?
Yeah. I didn't have your number.
I don't remember.
He called me.
I think it was, but it was after that. It was after that initial thing that kind of sparked it off.
Long story short, we've been together since I was 14 years old. He was actually my chambelan for my quinceañera.
Chambelan de honor.
Oh, yeah.
Not just a chambelan,
yeah.
de honor. That means honor.
With honor.
Because it's an honor to be with me, girl. What? Yep. He was my chambelan, and then we actually went to different high schools too. So we had a long distance relationship throughout our high school years. So I went to Foothill, and he went to Arvin, and so we had a long distance relationship for like 4 years. And then once we graduated, we kind of had like a little separation for like a few months, and we ended up right back together after a while. It wasn't too long. But we had our ups and downs in there, and then we have been married now 11 years. 11 years. So we got married in... And what it was for me, so this is my side of the story. So what it was, we were having, you know, our difficulties. I just turned 21, and of course, I'm going to go out and party and drink and stuff like that. And so we were having a little troubling waters at that time.
You know, you're 21. You're supposed to...
you know, have fun and what. And so she was graduating and going into her college years. And she, you know, during that time, she said, and I remember vividly, she said, well, since we're not together, I'm heading to LA to study. And that was, you know, initially I was like, whatever, yeah, take off, peace, we'll see you, whatever. But when it actually hit me that she was literally considering, or she was really considering going to LA, and, you know, knowing what we've been through, and, you know, she stuck behind me through everything, my no fashion, my flannel shirts, my... solo jeans, my baggy, you know, aqua net, tight back hair. I mean, oh my gosh, dude, trying to be a little gangster. So through all that phase, through everything, she was with me. And when I realized I knew I couldn't find another girl that would, you know, put up with all the BS that I put her through. I knew she was the one. And so that's kind of what initiated that whole, you know, no, I want you to stay. I see a future with you. And then, of course, 2 years later, or was it 2 years later? Yeah, 2 years later, I had, you know, I was 23, and that's when I proposed to her. She had just turned 21.
No, I wasn't 21
not
yet.
even 21 yet.
I was 20. We actually got married the week after I turned 21. So yes. I was 21 when we got married.
So then I was 22.
But we had bought a house before that.
Mm-hmm.